Has less than a year before total devastation.
Huh? No.
That's right. But I've only ever disclosed that fact to the handful of people working with me to save this nation. Our looming destruction is not a recent development, but the inevitable conclusion of the disaster the Abyss initiated 500 years ago.
Mulan told us a little bit about that.
500 years ago, all the nations of Teyvat were invaded by the Abyss. Unlike the other nations, Natlan never had stable and deep-rooted ley lines, so we suffered the worst of the invasion. The battle against the Abyss was exceedingly long and brutal. In the end, victory came at the cost of our civilization and countless lives. Even then, it took centuries of solving the disasters caused by the Abyss to finally achieve the peace we know today. And still, this is but a superficial victory. The forces of the Abyss have merely been driven back underground. Their threat to Natlan remains as real as ever.
I'd never have guessed.
The problems plaguing the Night Kingdom are all the more complicated because that realm is essentially functioning as Natlan's ley lines. Immediately after the war, our calculations estimated that we would have a maximum of 500 years before the Night Kingdom was completely lost to the Abyss. But at that time, we were a nation of the destitute. Our people no longer... Our civilization was dying, our faith crumbling, and the line of power passed down from the Wayab nearly severed. If we didn't bring the nation back together, it would be foolish to even dream of defeating the Abyss in the future. So, the Archon had a long and involved discussion with the heroes of each tribe, and finally came up with a 500-year-long plan to save Natlan.
So that's what happened. After finding Kachina, I encountered a strange figure who gave me a series of new memories. Since the plan was mentioned in those memories, I guess I've been chosen to play an important role in it. But there's still something I don't understand. Those memories showed me the Pyro Archon from back then. And it was you.
Huh? But that doesn't make any sense! The Pyro Archon is supposed to be human. It's impossible for a human to live that long.
That's right. The hardest thing for humans to overcome has always been time, or rather, the natural limitations of our lifespan. A god can extend a human's life by using a certain amount of divine power, or subjecting them to a curse. But, as we all know, Natlan doesn't have gods like that. We can only rely on our own methods. A human life is like a flame destined to be extinguished. 500 years ago, I placed my life within the sacred flame. Only by dying before my time could I have the chance to wake up again.
So, in other words, this is your second life?
Yes. We only managed to defeat the Abyss all those years ago because the tribes came together as one. If the Natlan of the future was to have a fighting chance, the Pyro Archons that came after the war had to rebuild the decimated tribes. The goal was to reunite the people and restore the strength of each tribe's Wayab. Once a tribe was back to its full strength, the tribe's Wayab would select a hero, indicating the tribe was once again ready for war. The Chosen would then stand by my side in defense of our nation, just like great heroes of old 500 years ago.
So that means...
That's right. You bear the ancient name Umoja, the same one held by the hero from your tribe 500 years ago. After your adventure in the Night Kingdom, I trust you've come to fully understand the
So in other words, you always...
Yes. According to the plan, each tribe... The 6 heroes successfully inherited... Once again, it comes down...
Just like how the Ode of Resurrection...
Exactly. It's just another tactic the Abyss is using against us. The Abyss may not possess... If we want to unblock that information... So, I've tried my best to help them from the sidelines. Currently, Shilonen of the Children of Echoes, Kinich of the Scions of the Canopy, and Iansan of the Collective of Plenty have all been acknowledged by their names. During your adventure, you too earned the acknowledgement of your Wayab Mualani. In the process, you gained the memories stored within your name.
But we have less than a year!
Yes, but we have no choice. We cannot start the plan until all the heroes have been gathered. That's also why I haven't been able to take action despite the urgency.
But if you knew this whole time, why didn't you just tell me about my role in all?
Perhaps, but the opposite could also be true. Knowing your destiny too early could mean failing to realize just like your determination to save Kachina, I hope your commitment to this endeavor comes from your own.
So I suppose you're not going to tell us who the final two heroes are then?
That's right. Their time is yet to come. Putting pressure on them beforehand will only hinder their development. I can only trust in the judgment of the Wayab. I have never believed I could solve this crisis alone. In fact, Natlan's salvation lies not in its Archon or any singular individual. You're quite perceptive, aren't you? I thought I might get.
Huh? Oh, right! All of the stuff you stored here before.
Even though I sacrificed my power, I still needed a contingency plan to. After all, I was the one who allowed you to take that risk. And in addition to their sentimental value, the items I stored here held a much more important purpose.
Fuel?
Yes. The stories embodied by those items are certainly important, but over time they became imbued with on their own, each item's power. By burning those items, I was able to act. It was a rather crude approach.
But weren't they all?
That's exactly why I dragged you all here. No matter what, I never.
You have nothing to be. And then, besides, when those heroes entrusted, if they knew those items helped.
Even when you.
The people and the events of the past. If you still have regrets, your deeds will become.
Well.
Now that Kachina, and we could all use the rest. Try not to let it get to. All right.
When I was young, I used to sit by the hut. They attract people. The people of this. It's been really nice. I've witnessed their energy. I'm certain. One day, when I'm no longer in fighting form, I'll come here and tell stories to all the children. So, you better get busy, Pyro Archon, or I'll end up running out of stories.
Our nation is engulfed in darkness. Our tribes stand divided, and yet you promise victory in the distant future. The abyss, my rage. But you came to me because you knew you could convince me with just a single sentence. I understand your choice. The heroes of today will forge the path ahead with blood and fire. Otherwise, rest assured, I'll find a way to collect the debt. For Natlan.
So, you're gonna head 500 years in the future to serve as the Pyro Archon again? But what about the you?
You can't. can't ask her those questions and expect her to answer, my dear. The decision is hers. We will do even across...
Yeah,
No.
Just remember, no matter what happens in the future, we will always love you.
I'll come find you one day. I know I can't live that long, but I'll think of something. There has to be a way for us to meet again one day. If there's an answer out there somewhere, I'm gonna find it. So, don't forget about me.
If that's your decision, then you have my full support, Archon.
May our children live to see such a lovely son.
For Natlan!
No one fights alone. The rules are my legacy. They shall grant us the strength to overcome
War for...
Who?
We are the inheritors of memory, those who grew alongside sun and wind, those who forged our own destiny and future. That is Natlan's fire, the lifeblood of our nation.